I have a confession to make. I love to dance. I know, I know. When did this happen? And how? Why? What's going on? Why am I obsessed with dancing? And why is this a confession? Because when I grew up, I was more of like a sporty girl, definitely athletic, playing on all the sports teams. And I don't think it was ever on my radar that I should take dance lessons or I should learn dancing or that learning dancing was even a thing. When I grew up, it was more ballet, those types of things, and it was never on my radar. I always enjoyed dancing when I was younger, and I think that maybe it has something to do with when you're young, you're very self-conscious, and dancing is like a thing that makes you even more self-conscious. But I enjoyed doing it. And as I got older, I realized I really like dancing. And now I realize I love dancing. I just don't know how to dance. When I hear the music, my body just goes. Like I can't help it, but I don't know how to dance. I'm not good at dancing, but I don't care. I think that's why I love dancing now is because I don't care how I look when I dance, but I've always wanted to be a good dancer, like to understand the nuances, the art, the technical aspect of dancing, and so that I could get better and better at it. And so trust me, I watch videos on YouTube, I do all the things. Actually, there was this time when I thought, I'm going to go and I'm going to take lessons. And I found this wonderful person who taught lessons in my area. Bev. She would pick a section of a song and then she would choreograph this amazing dance that we would do. And we'd do it or break it down over 6 weeks. And every week we'd do a little section and then she would videotape it and we would take it home and practice. And then we would add on to it next week. And then at the end of 6 weeks, she would videotape the whole thing and chop it up into this cool little music video for us. And I was in heaven. It was so fun to do these little hip hop videos. But what I noticed about myself is I don't understand how to move my body to the music from a technical understanding of music. It's just a natural flow. And so when it comes to doing these kinds of things, for me, it's memorization. And that kind of is not the definition of dancing and music for me. That's just free and total just l- be free and do whatever comes to you when you're dancing. And when we're learning these dances, it's more like memorization, put in the time, do the homework. And the more I practiced, the better I got because it was just memorization. But I don't want memorization. I want my body to know how to do that. And so when my instructor was pregnant with twins, she had to take a little leave of absence. And so I said, "Hey, where can I keep practice dancing?" So she gave me the name of a dance studio in Vancouver. And I started to follow them online. And then a pandemic happened and they did more and more stuff online. So I could practice with them online. They were doing free videos, tutorials, that kind of thing. And I got on their email list and I have been following them for years. I think it's like 4 or 5 years, that kind of thing. And I've just like been stalking them, quietly stalking them, watching what they're doing. And recently they opened up their own studio. And I noticed in the last email that they have created drop-in classes. Now, how much easier could they make it for me to be like, yes, I'm going to go do a dance class? But I was always hesitant because it's in Vancouver. It's a dance studio, like it's a club, it's a community. Their motto is like, we're going to do it and have so much fun. And it doesn't matter who you are, you belong here, you're welcome. It's called Culturally Defined, the studio. And they take great pride in saying everybody can come here and do this. It doesn't matter how old you are or what your physical body is like. Yes, this is for you. But they also do like dance off, like they have just they look so good, and so it's very intimidating. But I've always had this deep down desire to just be a really good dancer. So when I got the email with a drop-in class called Beginner Hip Hop, where they teach you just how to jump on the beat, and that is it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is my big chance." And then as soon as I read this with the thought in my head that this is for me, I can do this, I started to get nervous and I was fearful of doing this. And my brain just started to talk me out of it. And I noticed this. I was like, this is the class for me. This is what I've been waiting for. There's a zero commitment. So I just only need to go to this one class and I'm going to learn how to do the basic first step of hip hop. So this was designed specifically for me. They knew I've been following them and stalking them. And they're like, what does Heather need to come in to get her into this studio to do a first class? And this was it. I was so excited. And I emailed asking more questions. And I've emailed them before. I've been like lurking in the background for a long time. And I decided that this was going to be the class for me. And so when I noticed that all this resistance and nervousness and fear came up, I decided to do self coaching because as a life coach, that's what I do. I'm constantly coaching my brain on all of these things because that's the skills that I've learned and teach my clients, and it works. So you bet I do this stuff on myself. And so instantly I noticed that I was fearful. And I started to ask myself questions like, what would I have to be afraid of? Like, first, I identified the feeling fear. What would I have to be afraid of? And then I started to list all the things that popped into my brain. I thought, maybe I'm too old for this. And then I would coach myself on it and be like, hey, there is no age on there. It doesn't say for 20-year-olds only. And I thought, yeah, I don't think you can be too old to do this. That's just a thought in my head. And then I kept racking my brain, noticing what else is causing this fear? What if I can't do it? And then I noticed, this is a beginner hip hop class. They are telling me that they are going to teach me how to, from scratch, not knowing anything, jump on the beat. That's exactly what the class is for. Isn't it interesting that my brain would tell me that I'm not good enough for a beginner class? They are saying, hey, it even said in the thing, if you've never danced before, this is for you. This is the class for you. So I noticed how my brain was telling me all of these lies to make me afraid to not go because it's something new. Our brain is designed for three things: to conserve energy, to avoid pain, and to seek pleasure. And this was definitely to avoid the pain of embarrassment and failure and all that kind of stuff. My brain was just making stuff up. None of this was true. This class just should have read, Heather, this is your opportunity to come here and learn how to do a basic hip hop beat, meet new people and have fun. So get your butt down here, girl. That's what the ad should have said. And so when the more I did my work around noticing the thoughts, this is insane that my brain is trying to tell me that I'm too old for it or I can't do it because it's a beginner class. And then I flipped the script on my brain, talking myself into it from a perspective of they're saying they can teach anybody how to dance. And I'm like, that's me. They're saying, you don't know how to dance. Come here and we will teach you. And we're going to have fun while we do it. So I was all in. I was like so in. And I waited to the last minute to book my spot, buy my ticket. And I drove down there and I sat out front. I'm like, it's not too late to not go. But I just kept getting myself more and more hyped. And by the time I was done in my brain, I was super excited to go to this dance class. Like I could not wait to go to this dance class. And I walked up the stairs and in the door. And I was greeted by a Briggs, the co-owner, and she was so sweet. I couldn't even figure out how to pay for my parking. And she's like, no problem, girl, let's figure this out. And she was so welcoming. And everybody in there was just like, hey, we're glad you're here. Come on in. like, they have created the most amazing community just for people who want to belong somewhere in a dance community and learn and grow and be a part of something. But when I walked in there, I was just so excited. I'm like, "Yeah, who are you? Tell me more. Like, I'm just so happy to be here. How does it work?" And it was just such an amazing experience. I wasn't afraid, I wasn't scared when I went in there. I was super excited. And I purposely went on my own because I love doing challenges on my own, like challenging myself to do something because it's easy to be with somebody and use that as a crutch, but I wanted to just put myself out there and go solo and have that whole experience on my own. And I'm so glad I did because it was amazing. I met the instructor beforehand and he was like chugging back his Red Bull or whatever it was, ready to go. He's like, "You're going to have so much fun." And while we were learning, one main things that he was focusing on is like, "Hey, you spend your day stressing over work and doing all the things. You can't do anything wrong here. There is no wrong. Just let go. Just whatever comes into mind, just let it flow. And there's no possible way that you can do this wrong." And then he had us do this really cool exercise where we partnered up with somebody that I had just met and we made eye contact. And the whole time we made eye contact, he would he would play a different song and our mission in life was to jump on the beat. Well, we were watching each other, looking each other in the eyes and making sure that we were on the beat together. And it was so powerful just to let go of all of the craziness in our brains and just connect with somebody that I had never met before on such a amazing level. It was so cool. It was so cool. And yes, we had an amazing time. And yes, I learned how to jump on a beat. And yes, I would go back every weekend and do it all again. Like I felt so welcomed and just so good. And that yes, I could learn how to do this. And as I was walking into my class, there was all the people from the other class walking out, and I looked at this one woman and we made eye contact and just smiled at each other as we crossed paths because this woman was probably 70 years old and was in the class, like the advanced class. And I was like, yes, that is so inspirational. And I wasn't looking at this woman who was 70 doing a hip hop class thinking she's too old, she can't do it, her body can't do it or anything like that. I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, I wanna be like her. This is so inspirational. If she could do it, I could do it." So just look at all these amazing thoughts that our brain can create to stop us from doing something, or look at all these amazing thoughts that our brain can do to help us, to support us doing these things. And I love the philosophy and the thought of we can do hard things. Most of the times, these things are difficult because of the thoughts we're thinking in our brain. Like we are making them difficult because of the way we're thinking about them. And then the way we think about them makes us feel a certain way. So when we can really know that the answer is in being the thinker of our thoughts, there's 2 things that we do with our brain. One, we're the thinker of our thoughts, we create them, and then we're the watcher of the thoughts, the thinker of the thoughts. And so when we can become the watcher and notice how the thoughts that we're thinking aren't serving us and remember that we're in control, the thoughts are just sentences we've created in our brain and they're making us feel afraid or anxious, so we can create them into something else instead. And that's what I wanted to the part with this story today, the wisdom that I wanted to share was we can do hard things, and it doesn't even have to be a hard thing if we're really in control of the thoughts that we're thinking. Now, this was a long time coming for me. I'm not going to lie. For maybe 5 years that I have been culturally defined stalker, and it was just so liberating and so freeing, and it didn't have to be that long. It was just thoughts in my head that were stopping me from becoming this awesome dance mama that I've always wanted to be, and it's just the first step. It's only one class that I've taken, but in my brain, again, I noticed I love, love, love the fact that I could just do one drop in class. I don't have to commit to whatever it is. It's just in my brain that really worked. So I could go on any given Saturday and take another class and learn new dance steps and become a better dancer, like literally one beat at a time. And I felt so empowered, so free. When I left there, I was on cloud nine and I thought that was the best experience, not just because of the way I transformed my fear into excitement, but because of the place that I went to, like, I gotta give a shout out and all the props to Culturally Defined Dance Studio in Vancouver because they have such a wonderful setup to make every single person feel welcome. When you go into a culture like that I have no idea about, like nada, it can be very intimidating, and they are very, very good at dancing. They're really, really great at what they do. But when you can show up and just be welcomed into the club and be a part of the crew instantly just because you're there and you have the curiosity or the interest in dancing, well done, Culturally Defined, and I will be back for sure, and I'll be bringing all my friends with me because, it was just such a liberating experience. Remember, ladies, we can do hard things. Most of the time, they are hard things, not because they're hard to do physically, but because they're hard to do mentally or emotionally. And all of that, I just want you to hear this. All of that is created in our brain, which means we are in control of it and we can change it. So if there's this big scary thing out there that you want to do, the first place you want to start, the first place you want to look, where you want to start the work is in your mind, is in your brain, is with your thoughts. And once you do that, you can achieve anything. So, yes, go out there and do hard things and be fabulous and know that anything is possible for you. If you can think it with your brain, you can create it in your real life. Oh my gosh, I am so excited just to do more hard things. What is next? That's my question. Like, what am I going to do next? I can't wait to see what awesomeness I'm going to create next in my life. And you can do it too. Thank you for listening, my friends. Always, always, always love yourself first and have an amazing day.